Liverpool, the team with the most Champions League titles in England, the second most league titles, and the worst accent known to mankind.
I'm being serious.
Honestly, this monstrosity of an accent is enough to make you want to amputate your eardrums. It's that bad. It's actually disgusting. Nearly as disgusting as Jamie Carragher spitting at a child. Now, when I was growing up, Liverpool were absolutely trash. They finished 7th, 6th, 8th, 7th, 2nd, 6th, and 8th again between 2009 and 2016. Imagine if Arsenal or Manchester United went on a run like that. I remember one time they drew 2-2 at home against West Brom and started celebrating in front of their fans like this. Their banter era was 10 times worse than any other Big Six team, even Tottenham. In fact, it got so bad that once Gerrard missed a penalty on purpose to get their manager sacked. But on the rare occasions when Liverpool were actually good, they would bottle it every single time. In 2009, they had the chance to win the league, but they drew 3 games in a row against Stoke, Everton and Wigan. And then 10 years later in 2019, draws against Leicester, West Ham and Everton stopped them from winning the league again. But last season was even worse. In February, they had the chance to go 8 points clear of Arsenal at the Emirates, but instead they got absolutely dominated and lost 3-1. However, they were still top of the league in April and favourites to win the title, just for Kwanzaa to pull off the greatest assist in Premier League history for Bruno Fernandes. And after drawing that game, they went on to lose at home to Crystal Palace and get bullied and lose away to Everton. This goal is actually such a calamity, before dropping points away to both West Ham and Aston Villa, ending up 9 points off the top. That's one of the biggest bottle jobs of all time, which no one talks about. How do you get 12 points out of 24 to finish the season in a title race? And they're gonna do it again this season. For some reason, everyone forgets how much they bottled it last season. But after this season, everyone's gonna be talking about this as the biggest bottle job of all time. There's a reason they only have 1 Premier League title to their name. And even in that season, they managed to lose to the worst Arsenal team in history and lifted the trophy in front of absolutely nobody. How embarrassing, man. Imagine your best ever player not winning the league title. No wonder he was desperate to go to Chelsea his entire career. I always hear about this great City-Pool rivalry, but that has to be one of the worst rivalries ever. In 7 years of rivalry, Man City won 6 league titles whilst Liverpool won 1. That's not a rivalry. They just gave you a pity title, man. These bozos got slapped up by City so many times it was pathetic. They lost 5-0, 4-1, 4-0 and 4-1 again against them in the space of a few years, whilst only managing 1-3-0 against them. They're actually City's dogs, man, and their fans are always bum-licking each other. It's embarrassing. That's not a real rivalry, bro. They see you as their little brother. But we still haven't covered categorically the worst bottle job of all time, 2014. This was a fumble of catastrophic proportions, man. I'm not sure if anything will ever top this. They had Suarez and Sturridge banging in the goals all season, and after 11 wins in a row, they found themselves top of the league. And with 3 games to go, all they had to do was get 2 wins and a draw to win the league. And that's when Chelsea came to Anfield without Petr Cech, Terry, Cahill, Ramirez and Hazard. Surely this was a game Liverpool win the title. But instead, Gerrard slipped, Bar scored, and Liverpool were behind. This might be the most iconic moment in Premier League history. Liverpool's captain, their greatest ever player, their talisman, after saying in their last game, "This does not slip now," slipped in their biggest game for nearly 10 years to throw away the Premier League title. Isn't it just so beautiful? Why don't we just take a moment to savor this and really take it in? And then in the final minute, Torres broke on the counter to set up Willian and wrap up the win for Chelsea's B team. But it wasn't finished there. There was still some hope for Liverpool. They went away to Crystal Palace and had to get their goal difference up. And it was looking good when they went 3-0 up after 55 minutes. But then after 80 minutes, Delaney took a deflected shot to pull one back for Palace, before Dwight Gale got a second. And then in the 88th minute, Gale was through again and he scored to complete the comeback, meaning Liverpool had bottled it again. This time for 3-0 up. Suarez was crying and Gerrard's final hopes of a league title were officially gone. It would take something astronomical to beat that bottle job. But Liverpool don't just bottle it in the Premier League. They bottled it in Europe as well. After going 1-0 up in the 2016 Europa League final, they ended up losing 3-1 to Sevilla. And then last season, they somehow lost 3-0 at home to Atalanta. Anfield being a fortress is honestly such a myth. I've seen these guys get slapped up countless times at home in Europe. Letting Atalanta do it to you is beyond embarrassing. But they also bottled a 2-0 lead at home to Atletico to lose 3-2 in 2020. Letting Morata dunk on your head top is shameless. And then in 2023, they went 2-0 up at home to Real Madrid just to lose 5-2. Alisson was absolutely hopeless in this game. What a flippin' bozo. Out of their last 4 Champions League finals, they've only won 1. In 2007, Milan absolutely bullied them as revenge for Istanbul. And in 2024, they had the chance to win a treble as they faced Real Madrid. But they got beaten by them once again, as Naby Keita pulled off the most embarrassing shot in the history of sport. This is absolutely diabolical, bruv. Real Madrid actually owned them. They knocked Liverpool out 3 years in a row between 2021 and 2023. But the best Real Madrid-Liverpool game had to be the 2018 Champions League final. This game was hyped up as Salah versus Ronaldo, just for Ramos to dislocate Salah's shoulder in the first half. But injuring Liverpool's best player wasn't enough for Ramos. He also targeted the most diabolical abomination of a goalkeeper the beautiful game has ever seen, leaving Karius concussed. But I'm sorry, it takes more than a concussion to be this flippin' disastrous. Never before has there been a performance as nefarious as this. In a Champions League final, he rolled it straight to Benzema. This has to be the absolute worst thing anyone has ever done on a football pitch. However, Mane was able to equalise for Liverpool not long later. Everyone could just forget about that Karius error and just move on. Oh wait, he did it again! This shot was directly at him, and he let it go through him. Did Ramos give him CTE or something? Because what is this? To do that in a Champions League final is simply preposterous. However, as an Arsenal fan, I am rather grateful that they beat Tottenham in the 2019 final. But that's all the positivity you're getting from me. Back to the slander. Darwin Núñez is the most egregious, atrocious, deplorable, diabolical bozo I've ever seen. This man has no footballing intelligence. The amount of chances he misses is outrageous. When I saw these expired step-overs against Barcelona, I knew he would flop at Liverpool, but I didn't expect him to be this flippin' bad. On his home debut, he decided to headbutt Joachim Andersen and get sent off. And you don't need any more than that to decipher how brain-dead this nonsensical fool is. He is genuinely the most Kalam footballer to ever play the sport, and whoever made the decision to sign him needs to be exiled to Turkmenistan, because this bozo is absolutely terrible. And all of you who compared him to Haaland when he first signed need to take a long hard look in the mirror and ask yourself the question: was I dropped on my head as a child? Long before Núñez, Liverpool actually used to have some good strikers, such as Fernando Torres. It's just a shame that he realised the team he played for was absolutely awful, and he decided to join Chelsea. But they were able to replace him with their record signing, a player everyone was talking about to be the next big thing, Andy Carroll. Oh, and they bought Luis Suarez. Despite being racist to Patrice Evra and biting Ivanovic, Suarez was actually pretty good at football. But even with him scoring 30 goals a season, they couldn't win anything notable, so he decided to leave as well. In his final season, Liverpool finished second, and they would have to bear some top quality talent to keep them in the top 4 in the following season. So they decided to sign Fabio Borini, Ricky Lambert, and Mario Balotelli, who combined for a total of 4 Premier League goals in over 50 games that season. And no, that's not 4 goals each, that's 4 goals combined. Whilst Liverpool's attack in this period may have been lacking, they had some unbelievable defensive talent, such as Dejan Lovren, who once got subbed off in the first half against Tottenham in a 4-1 loss. But even better than him was the man, the myth, the legend, Ragnar Klavan. This Estonian beast was like a gazelle on the football pitch. His close control out from the back was like watching a modern day Beckenbauer. It's honestly a shame that Liverpool were never able to build the team he deserved around him. But eventually under Klopp, Liverpool were able to build a good team, including the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who might be the worst defender at defending of all time. Never before have I seen a player get embarrassed as many times as this man. At the back post, he gets beaten for every single cross, and on one-on-ones, he's actually just dreadful. What kind of nefarious level of ineptitude must be required to make Gabriel Martinelli look like the greatest winger in Premier League history every single time he plays it? Van Disney might be the most overrated player ever, period. I've heard people say he's the best defender in Premier League history. Are you serious? The amount of times I've seen him eating grass is crazy. Rashford made Van Dijk his dog back in 2019, but I've even seen him floored by Perisic. Nah, this is actually humiliating. Look at this bozo. And Mo Salah is actually just overrated. Unfortunately, I mysteriously don't have any clips to prove it, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it, man. All those stats you see are fugazi. He actually just isn't good. But Liverpool fans, are you actually gonna be mad that I called Trent, Van Dijk and Salah overrated? Because all 3 are leaving you this summer. They're not signing any contracts. Trent is going to Real Madrid because you're too small for him. Salah wants to leave and has said multiple times since his last season. And Van Dijk also said there's no contract talks. I hope you're ready to absolutely fall off next season, because you're not even gonna get any transfer fees for them to rebuild with. And people are talking about how it would be a great send-off for them to all leave winning the Premier League. But what makes you think Liverpool give players good send-offs? Do you remember the send-off they gave Steven Gerrard? Losing 6-1 to Stoke flippin' City. 6 to Stoke is genuinely insane work, bro. For a supposedly big club, Liverpool have been embarrassed so many times. A couple months after winning the league, they went away to Aston Villa and conceded 7. 7-2 is preposterous. Villa finished 17th the season before. Adrian was actually a shambles. The guy single-handedly gave Villa about 5 goals. And this Liverpool fan's reaction was too funny, man.
7.
In this season, they also lost 6 home games in a row. At Anfield, the stadium's supposedly a fortress, and this wasn't even to good teams. They lost to Burnley, Brighton, Everton, Fulham and Chelsea in that run. 4 of those teams finished 10th or below, and that Man City loss was beyond comical. Alisson passed it straight to City players about 3 times, and they let Raheem Sterling dunk on them as well. I'll also never forget Pickford's tackle on Van Dijk in that season. How this wasn't given as a foul with VAR is actually so hilarious to me. This might be the most blatant red card of all time, and they gave nothing, not even a penalty. And then their horrific 22-23 season as well, when they dropped points to Fulham, Crystal Palace, Man United, Everton, Brighton, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Leeds, Chelsea, Crystal Palace again, Man City, Chelsea again, Arsenal again, Aston Villa and Southampton. Not to mention them getting absolutely embarrassed by Brentford, Brighton and Wolves all in the space of a month, and losing 4-1 away to Napoli in the Champions League. And that time they beat Man United 7-0, just to lose to Bournemouth in the very next game. That season was beyond comical, man. I might need to make an entire video dedicated to just that season. And I have to talk about Jurgen Klopp as well. This man has endless meme potential. potential.
Boom.
Such as when he pulled his hamstring celebrating this goal against Tottenham. Or his stupid excuses, such as blaming the wind, the snow, the grass, and even BT Sport. But eventually got tired of managing Liverpool. And so would I, having to hear that dreadful, bizarre abomination of an accent. But my favourite Liverpool loss of all time has to be from 2020 when they were unbeaten after 27 games and had a chance of beating the Invincibles. Just then to go away to Watford and get absolutely battered. These bozos let Ismaila Sarr and Troy Deeney dunk on them, and yet they thought they could chat to the Invincibles.
Get right here, man!
And this season, Arsenal are going to show them levels once again by beating them to the Premier League title. Do you really think it's that unrealistic when they just lost to flipping Plymouth? The team that's 24th in the Championship knocked them out the FA Cup. They've conceded the most goals in the EFL this season, and they couldn't score against them. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also, subscribe to my second channel. As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be posting 3 times a week on that channel. In a bit, G. Oh, and don't think I forgot about the disgusting shenanigans some of their players get up to. The streets will never forget Trent saying stop saving chat, or him trying to sleep with a pregnant girl, but he's still not as bad as Gerald Kranzer, who got exposed chatting to a girl under 18.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
And even worse than that, chatting up Astrid Wets.
Shame. Shame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whoa! I hope that's not on the telly.
Stop it. Get some help.